Here are the 10 greatest Dracula movies of all time. The Brides of Dracula doesn't actually feature Dracula himself, but follows Van Helsing as he hunts vampires infected by the rampaging and blood-sucking Baron after killing the Count. Dracula, Dead and Loving It is another installment in Leslie Nielsen's iconic career of parody films. Ironically enough, this comedy is one of the more accurate depictions of Bram Stoker's story. Dracula 1979 is one of the more underrated renditions of Stoker's novel, with Frank Langella in the titular role. This version played up the romantic dynamic between Dracula and his bride. Bram Stoker's Dracula is a loose adaptation of the novel with the same name that features a star-studded cast including Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves, Anthony Hopkins, and Winona Ryder. Dracula, Prince of Darkness sees the bloodthirsty Count played by Christopher Lee and resurrected after being killed by Van Helsing in the Dracula 1958 film, which we'll talk about later. The Last Voyage of the Demeter doesn't focus on the entire Dracula novel, rather one chapter of the book, which follows the crew of the Demeter, who are unknowingly transporting Dracula's coffin overseas. Dracula 1931 was the king of the Universal's Golden Age monsters. Bela Lugosi plays a charming version of Dracula in one of the creepiest and most famous renditions of the titular character. Dracula 1958 is notable for several reasons, particularly the casting. Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing as Dracula and Van Helsing respectively are two of the best choices Hammer Horror ever made. Van Helsing is almost as famous as Dracula himself, and Hugh Jackman portrayed the character in a story that reimagined the bounty hunter as an immortal servant of the Vatican. Nosferatu was made in 1922 and is still considered by many to be the creepiest movie of all time. The silent film follows Count Orlok in place of Dracula in homage to Stoker's original novel.